ఒక్క నిమిషం. Start up. Good afternoon everyone. This is Vinay, Senior Faculty Geology from EMRS Balanagar. So our topic is contraceptive method. So this simply we can call it as contraception also. So our topic is contraception, we can call it as. Contraceptions we can call it as, or it is also called contraceptive methods we can call it as. Contraceptive or contraceptions or contraceptive methods we can call it as. The first thing is why I have selected this topic. So why I have selected this topic? Because if you are observing the NEET question paper, so right, so NEET 2024 re-examination, or so NEET 2024 general examination, or 2023 or 2022 or 21, 2019, 2018, since many years we are having only one important question from the topic called contraceptions we can call it as. So because of that reason I have selected this topic. And before entering into our topic, I want to give 4 tips to get good marks in NEET examination especially. Right? So main 4 tips, what I personally feel, so that 4 tips I am giving better. So that is the first tip. So first tip is reading of. So first tip is reading of textbook. Reading of textbook. So what I personally observed in many students, so instead of reading textbook, most of the students are concentrating the other material which is available in the market. So different materials are there. So because of that reason, my personal request is, so please concentrating the textbook. Because so 99.99% of questions which we are getting in the NEET examination, so that is from the textbook only. So because of that reason, please concentrate on the textbook. Second thing is selective study we can call it as. Second one is selective study we can call it as. So if you are observing the NEET question paper beta, since many years we are writing the NEET examinations, so in that NEET examination, if you are observing the NEET question paper, so most of the questions are coming from the selective topics only. Most of the questions are from the selective topics only. For example, second year syllabus, respiration is there. So from that respiration, we are getting question from the respiratory volumes or respiratory capacities are there. So coming to circulation lesson. So from that circulation lesson, we are getting question from the ECGs. Most of the time we are getting question from the ECG. Or, so if you are observing the next topic, that is excretion topics. So we are getting question from the structure of nephron or functions of nephron. So what is counter current mechanism? So that is there. So if you are observing the reproductive health, we are getting question from the contraceptive methods. So if not, we are getting question from the ORT. That we can call it as reproductively associated techniques are there. Associated reproductive techniques are there. So from the topics only we are getting questions. So that is the reason. So selective study is very important to get good marks in the NEET examination. And the third one. So third one means PYQs. So PYQs, previous year questions better. So previous year's questions also very important. So because we have to know what type of questions are coming in the examination and how they are asking in the examination. So that is very important. So that is the reason you have to go through with the PYQs, previous year questions. And so fourth one we can call it as, so that is concentration, very important this, what I personally feel. So concentration of, so negative mark or else concentration on negative marking. Concentration on, so negative marking is there. So regularly, so every weekend we are writing different examinations, right? So every weekend we are writing weekend examination and every month we are writing cumulative examinations. So in that, how many negative questions you are attempting? How many questions are you are attempting wrongly? So you have to concentrate on that. For example, so if you are attempting 5 wrong questions in, so zoology. So what about botany? You may attempt 5 more questions in botany. You may attempt, so 5 more questions in physics and 5 more questions in chemistry. So that means totally, so that is 20 questions you may attempt in total. weekend examination. So 20 questions means 20 into 4, that is 80 marks you may lose in the examination. So that is the reason negative marking is very important for the weekend examination and final examination also. Just imagine you got 400 marks. So but in that 20 wrong questions are there. How many marks you may get in the NEET examination, NEET final examination? So that is the fourth one beta. So one more important one. So that is final one. So that is time management, we can call it as. The final one is time management. It is very important. For why? Time management is very important. So because just imagine beta, August month is completed. So what are the month we are having? So we are having September, so October, November, so December, so January, February, March, April, May. So in the May we are having the NEET examination, right? So right in that, so 10 days, so we are going for the vacation for the September month. So next again in the January, so 10 days we are losing for the vacation. And February, we are completely busy with the practical examination. In the March, we are completely busy with the public examination. That means 1, 2, 3 and 4. So final examination. That means 4 3s are, so that is 430. So that means 122, 150 days we are having for the NEET preparation. So my dear students, please concentrate. So time is very precious for your examination. You don't have much time for the NEET examination. So please concentrate, and the time also. So this is the, so what are the methods? So these are the best methods to get the good marks in the NEET examination. So please concentrate on these 5 things to get good marks in the NEET examination. Now we are going to enter into our topic beta. So what is our topic? So our topic is contraception, we can call it as, right? So our topic is contraceptions. So contraceptions. Contraception is the topic of the reproductive health. So first we have to know what is reproductive health. So there is a difference between normal health and reproductive health. So first we have to know, so what is reproductive? So what is reproductive health? So we can easily understand what is the meaning of reproductive health beta. So this month is August. What is the next month? So next month is September. So if you know the September, you know the meaning of reproductive health. Simply, right? So September, SEPB, we can call it as. So this is the definition of reproduction health. See, S stands for sexually. So if you are healthy, so if you are sexually healthy, or so if you are so emotionally healthy, or if you are physically healthy, so if you are so behavior wise healthy, so finally we can call it as reproductive health. So that 4 type of health, so conclude the 4 type of health combines, we can call it as reproductive health beta. So in that reproductive health, what is our concept? Our concept is contraceptions, we can call it as. So we're talking about the contraception. What is contraception? So first, before entering into our topic, I will give the simple flowchart regarding the contraceptives. So by observing that flowchart, you can get the clarity on the contraceptions or contraceptive methods, right? So contraceptions, I am giving complete flowcharts. Contraception. And first beta, what is the meaning of contraception? Tell me. So what is the contraception? So contraception means it is a combination of 2 words. It is a combination of 2 words. So what are the words are there? The first word we can call it as contra is there. And second word we can call it as conception is there. Conception is there. So that means contraception means it is a combination of 2 words. One is contra, one is conception. And tell me what is the meaning of conception? So conception means already we studied in the reproductive lesson. So conception means fusion of male and female gametes. So that we can call it as conception. Simple words we can call it as fertilization. What is conception? Conception means, so that is fusion of so gametes. Fusion of gametes. Simple words we can call it as fertilization, we can call it as beta. Fusion of gametes we can call it as a conception. Then what about the contraception? What about the contraception? Contraception means which is working opposite to conception. Contraception to which is working opposite to conception. Contra means it is opposite. So which is working opposite to conception. So that we can call it as contraception. We can call it as contraception. What is the perfect definition of contraception? So what is the perfect definition of contraception? Contraception means so the device or the method so which prevent the pregnancy, we can call it as. So the device, the method which is preventing the pregnancy, so that we can call it as contraception. Once again beta, our topic is contraception. So contraception is the combination of two words. One is contra, one is conception. Conception means fusion of gametes, we can call it as. Contra means opposite. The total meaning of contraception means which is preventing the pregnancy, which is preventing the fertilization, which is preventing the coitus process, which is preventing the conception. So that we can call it as a contraception, we can call it as. So that we can call it as a contraception. So what is the meaning of contraceptives, we can call it as. So one is contraception, that is okay. What about contraceptives? So contraceptive means so the devices which we are using for the contraception, that we can call it as the contraceptives, we can call it as. So what are they beta? So what are they? The first one we can call it as the different barriers are there. So different barriers are there, or different pills are there, tablets which we are using for the preventing of pregnancy, or so the devices, injections are there. So injections are there, or so implants are there, or IUDs are there. So these are all combinedly we can call it as, what are they? So these are all we can call it as contraceptives, we can call it as. Contraceptives we can call it as. So contraception means which is preventing the pregnancy. Contraceptives means the devices, the materials, the tablets. So what we are doing for the preventing of contraception. So that we can call it as contraceptives, we can call it as. So now we are going to discuss about the type of contraceptives or type of contraception. So generally this contraception is divided into two types beta. So two types, that is the previous year questions. So NEET 2024 questions. So if you observe the NEET 2024, 23, so 22, whatever the question paper. So there is a definite questions from this contraception. So contraception is basically two types. The first type we can call it as, so temporary contraception we can call it as. Temporary contraception. And the second method we can call it as permanent. So permanent contraception. How many types are there? Two types we can call it as. First one is temporary. Second one is permanent method. So coming to this temporary means the persons who delay in pregnancy, for that purpose we are using this temporary method. The persons who permanently doesn't need the pregnancy, for that purpose we are using the permanent contraceptive methods. So again we are going to discuss about the temporary methods. So these temporary methods again divided into two types. So in that one of the type we can call it as so natural, very important one beta. So we are getting different questions from this natural one. So natural method, it is also called traditional. It is also called traditional, we can call it as. Second one, so if it is natural, so automatically it will become artificial. Artificial. The first one is contraception divided into two types. One is temporary contraception, permanent contraception. Now we are talking about the temporary contraception. So temporary contraceptions again divided into two types. The first one we can call it as natural. Natural is also called as traditional. Second one is artificial, we can call it as. Coming to this one, so what are the natural methods are there? There are three natural methods are there. So natural methods means we are not using any medicines, we are not using any devices. So even though we can prevent the pregnancies, so we can prevent the fertilization process, we can prevent the conception process. So that is natural methods beta, natural traditional method. So what are they? So there are mainly three types are there. So mainly, so three types are there. The first one we can call it as, so periodic abstinence. The first one we can call it as periodic abstinence, periodic Periodic abstinence we can call it as. Periodic abstinence. And the second one we can call it as, so coitus interruptus we can call it as. Coitus interruptus we can call it as. And it is also called, simple word we can call it as withdrawal method we can call it as. Withdrawal method we can call it as. And the third one, so lactational. So lactational amenorrhea we can call it as. Amenorrhea we can call it as. Lactational amenorrhea. So these are the three natural methods. So one we can call it as periodic abstinence. Second one we can call it as coitus interruptus. It is also called withdrawal. And the third one we can call it as lactational amenorrhea. So these are the three natural methods which are preventing the conception process, which are prevent the pregnancies. Coming to artificial one. So these artificial one, different types are there. So artificial one, again different types are there, different types are there. So in that first one we can call it as barriers. First one we can call it as barriers. Second one, so this we can call it as pills. Simple words we can call it as tablets. So these pills is also called OCPs, oral contraceptive pills. We will discuss separately. So first one is barriers. So coming to artificial, the first method we can call it as barrier. Second method we can call it as pills. It is also called OCP. And the third one, injections are there. So injections we can call it as. And the fourth one we can call it as implants are there. Implants. And the final one we can call it as IUDs. Very important one, IUDs. So if you are observing the question paper, beta, NEET question paper, you are having the questions of IUDs only. Most of the time we are getting question from the IUDs. So coming to again, so barriers again two types are there. We'll discuss what are they. So barriers again divided into two types. The first one we can call it as, so physical barriers we can call it as. Physical barriers we can call it as. Second one we can call it as chemical barriers. Chemical barriers. Coming to physical barriers, again two types are there. So that is male barriers are there, female barriers are there. So if you understand this flowchart better, you know the complete concept of contraceptive methods or contraceptions. Right? Barriers, two types are there. So physical barriers and chemical barriers are there. So in that, so physical barriers again two types. Male barriers are there, female barriers are there. So what about OCPs? OCPs or pills, it is also dividing into two types. So pills also dividing into two types. The first one we can call it as steroid pills. First one we can call it as steroid pills we can call it as. And the second one, it is also called, second one we can call it as non-steroid pills we can call it as. Non-steroid pills we can call it as. Injections, as usual injections is there and implants are there. The next very important one, IUDs are there. So IUDs divided into three types, very important one. So most of the time we are getting question from the IUDs only. So we'll discuss after completion of this class. So we will discuss about the previous questions also. So what type of question is there from the contraceptive method? So 2024, what question is there? 2024 re-examination, what question is there? 23, 22, 21. So we'll discuss about all the previous questions which are getting from this contraceptive topics. What about IUDs? IUDs also again divided into three types. The first one we can call it as non-medicated IUDs. So non-medicated IUDs we can call it as. Second one we can call it as copper releasing. Second one we can call it as copper. Copper one is there. So copper releasing IUDs we can call it as. Second one we can call it as copper releasing IUDs. Third one we can call it as hormonal. Third one we can call it as hormonal IUDs. First, what is the meaning of IUDs? IUDs means intrauterine devices. So the devices which we are inserted to prevent the pregnancies in the uterus. So IUDs means uterine devices we can call it. Intrauterine devices. So that is about completely, so temporary, so contraceptive methods. So once again, contraceptive methods are divided into two types, permanent methods and temporary methods. So temporary methods are divided into again two types. So natural method, so artificial method. So coming to again natural, so there are three types of natural methods are there. So one is periodic abstinence, second one coitus interruptus, Third one, lactational amenorrhea, we can call it as. Coming to artificial method, there are different types are there. First one is barriers. Second one is pills. So oral contraceptive pills. Third one is injections. Fourth one is implants. Fifth one is IUDs. So these are the 5 types are there. So coming to barriers. Barriers are again 2 types. Physical barriers, chemical barriers. Physical barriers again, male barriers, female barriers. So pills, oral contraceptive pills. There are 2 types of pills are there. One is steroid pills are there. Non-steroid pills are there. The next one, injections. So injection, there is no types are there, implants are there. The final one is IUDs. 3 types of IUDs are there. So non-medicated IUDs, copper releasing IUDs and hormonal IUDs are there. So what about permanent one? So permanent one is also dividing into 2 types. Very important one. Permanent one is also dividing into 2 types. So that we can call it as one is for male, one is for female. So the method, the permanent method which is useful for the female, that we can call it as tubectomy, we can call it as. So tubectomy we can call it as. The method which is useful for the preventing of conception for men, we can call it as vasectomy. Vasectomy and the tubectomy. So these permanent methods, it is also called sterilization, we can call it as. Sterilization. So this is completely flowchart about the contraceptive methods better. If you know the flowchart, so you will get the complete clarity, complete clarification on the contraceptive methods. So now we are going to discuss about the, so more detailed discussion about the contraceptive method. Right? So just now I said that different methods are there, right? So barriers are there, pills are there, and IUDs are there. Here natural, different things are there. So now the question is, so what are the characters? What are the ideal characters of the contraceptives? So what are the characters should be there for the contraceptive? So we are using these different things, right? So what are the characters of these different things, right? So the things are, so ideal contraceptives, we can call it as, which one we can call it as? Ideal contraceptives. Which one we can call it as ideal contraceptives? So what are the characters of contraceptives? So that is we can easily understand. So with a code. So that is present in the English. So you know the vowels. So what are the vowels are there? So that is. So we know that A, right? A, E, I, O, U. So these we can call it as vowels, right? So these we can call it as vowels, right? And these are the characters of oral ideal contraceptive methods. So along with these, so 2 more characters are there. So my favorite hero is Ram Charan. So I am adding his name also. So RC, Ram Charan. So I am adding his name also. So these are the main ideal characters of contraceptive methods. So what about this A, E, I, O, U and Ram Charan? We'll discuss. So right. The first one is, so what is stands for A? So A means available easily. So available easy. So available easy. Who should available easy? Contraceptive methods. So you are using for the preventing of pregnancies, right? So that contraceptive should be available easily. So it should be available easily in the market. So that is the one of the character. The next one, E for, so effective. So effective. So if you are using the contraceptive methods, if you are taking tablets, if you are using the injections or implant and IUDs, it should not disturb regular sexual life. It should not disturb the regular sexual life. So that means same effectiveness should be given by the contraceptives. So that is the second one. The next one, I stands for, so I means we can call it as no interference, we can call it as. No interference. So that means if you are using any safety methods, that is IUDs, IUDs or else pills, just now I said that. So pills, IUDs or else condoms, if you are, different methods are there. If you are using that, so that should not interference your regular life, regular sexual life. So that is the characters are there. So here O is there. It is not actually O. It is, so it is 0, we can call it as 0 or so limited side effects are there. So 0 effects, that means minimum side effects. No side effects are there actually. So but, so that, so one of the character of contraceptive means it should be give, so 0 side effects. It should not giving any side effects. So that is one of the character of contraceptive. The next one, use. So use stands for very important one. So user friendly. So user friendly. So that means you can use yourself. So these contraceptives, so you can use individually. So without the help of any others. Some contraceptives are said for that purpose we need the help of some and medical attendant. So but some contraceptives are there. So that should be available easily in the market. So that should be user friendly. So that means you can use yourself. And the final one. So next one is R. R stands for reversible. Reversible. So after using of contraceptive methods also, your sexual life should be the normal way. It should not affecting your regular sexual life. So that is the character. So that means it should be reversible. So whether you are using or not using, that is not a matter. If you are using, it should be reversible. And the final one. So that is cheap. Contraceptive should be available in the market cheaply. So not so too much cost. That is cheaply it should be available. So these are the characters of ideal contraceptive method. Ideal contraceptives method. So what are the characters are there? So we can know easily. So with a code called OVALS. AEIOU. So favorite hero Ram Charan. So that is A stands for available easy. And E stands for effective. I stands for no interference. So O means zero. So zero side effect should be there. U stands for user friendly. R stands for reversible. And C stands for cheap. It should be available cheap in the market. So these are the ideal contraceptive characters. The next one better. The next one we are going to discuss about the natural contraceptive methods or temporary contraceptive methods. So temporary is there, right? So in that temporary, so one of the best thing we can call it as. So we are going to discuss about this. So temporary contraception is there, right? So in that temporary contraception, there is a two types are there, right? So one we can call it as natural. So one we can call it as artificial. So now we are discussing about the, so one of the type. So that is, so natural contraceptives we can call it as. So what is the another name of natural contraceptive methods? So natural contraceptive methods is also called traditional. Is also called traditional contraception or traditional contraceptive methods we can call it as. So in that traditional contraceptive methods, we discussed that there is three types are there, right? So in that first type is, so that we can call it as periodic abstinence we can call it as. Periodic abstinence is there, right? So what is the meaning of periodic abstinence? So periodic abstinence means there is a period is there. So in that period we have to give some absence. So there should be a absence. So then only, so that can prevent the pregnancy, getting pregnancy. So that can prevent the fertilization of gametes. So what about periodic abstinence better? Especially it is for female. So we know that, so female is having menses, right? Menstrual cycle is there, right? So monthly cycle is there, right? So that is, it will complete it, so 28 to 29 days, right? So in that menstrual, so in that menses or in that menstrual cycle, so there are four types are there, right? The first one we can call it as, so menstrual phase. The first one we can call it as menstrual phase. Second one we can call it as follicular phase. Follicular phase. It is also called, so proliferative phase. And third one we can call it as ovulation phase. Ovulation phase. And the fourth one we can call it as luteal phase we can call it as. It is also called secretory phase we can call it as. Alright? Periodic abstinence means generally we are talking about the female. So female is having menstrual cycle. So in that menstrual cycle how many phases are there? So four phases are there. The first one we can call it as menstrual phase. Second one follicular phase. So third one ovulation phase. And the fourth one is luteal phase or secretory phase. So in 28 days cycle, so what are the days for it? So for example menstrual cycle, so it will completed, so 1 to 5 days. The next one, so that is, so next phase, so that is 6 to, so 13 days we are so female is having. So ovulation exactly 14th day we know that. Ovulation takes place. The remaining one, so that is, so 15th to, so 28 and 29 days. So this we can call it as luteal phase. Then what is periodic abstinence? So periodic abstinence means we should give gap for we should not participating in the coitus process. We should not participating in the sexual process exactly certain days. And there is sometimes we are unable to find out that which is the exactly ovulation day. So that is the reason. So we should give 3 days before and 3 days after. So we should give gap. We have to give gap for coitus process. So that means exactly days we can call it as 10th day to 17th day. So in menstrual cycle, 10th day to 17th day. So this days we can call it as fertile period, we can call it as. So this period or this days we can call it as fertile period, we can call it as. So in this fertile period, in between these days, so there is a chances for production of ovum is more. So what is more? So chances for production of ovum is more. So if you are participating in the coitus process, if you are participating in the sexual process in these days, definitely she will get the pregnancy. Right? So that is the reason we have to give the gap for these days. So gap for these days. So she is unable to get the pregnancy in that days. So that is we can call it as a natural contraception. We are not using any medicines, we are not using any tablets. So natural way, we are giving certain gap for the coitus process. So that is preventing the conception. So that is one of the natural method we can call it as better. Second method, easy one. Second method is easy one. So that we can call it as coitus. So interruptus we can call it as. Coitus interruptus. So it is also called withdrawal method, right? Coitus interruptus or withdrawal method. Easy one better. So especially it is for the male. So that is the periodic abstinence for the male and female. So that means the female no. So when? So the period is there. So coming to coitus interruptus or withdrawal, it is especially for the men. And men know that when, men is participating in the sexual process. So men know that, the time of releasing of semen. So the time of releasing of semen. So at the time of releasing of semen into the female reproductive system, so the penis should be removed from the vagina. So that method we can call it as withdrawal or coitus interruptus. So in the name only we are getting answer. Coitus means sexual process, mating process. Interruptus, that should be disturbed. Coitus should be disturbed. So that means leaving off. What is the meaning of this one? So removing off penis. So from vagina. When we are removing better. So before, ejaculation, before releasing the semen. So before releasing the semen, if you are removing the penis from the female reproductive system, vagina, so that we can call it as a coitus interruptus or withdrawal method we can call it as. So this we can call it as, withdrawal method we can call it as. The next, third method, third natural method. So this we can call it as lactational. So lactational amenorrhea we can call it as. Lactational amenorrhea. So in the name only we are getting answer better. So by observing the name, by reading the name, so you are getting the answer. So here, lactational means intense feeding stage. So lactation means feeding stage. So giving milk stage, that we can call it as lactational. So here, amenorrhea. So amenorrhea, here A for absent. A for absent. So what is absent? So menstruation is absent. Menstruation is absent. So that means she cannot releasing the ovum in these days. So this we can call it as the lactational amenorrhea. She is not releasing the ovum. She is not releasing the ovum means there is no chances for mating of sperm cell and ovum. There is no chances for getting of fertilization. There is no chancing for implantation. So this we can call it as the one of the natural method. So what will happen in lactational amenorrhea beta? So in this lactational amenorrhea, so that is intensive feeding is there, right? So at the time of intensive feeding, so the prolactin, so what is prolactin? Prolactin is a hormone. So prolactin hormone is increasing the female reproductive system. So in female especially, the prolactin hormone is increasing the female at the time of intense lactation or intense feeding. So when the prolactin is increasing in the female, so it is automatically suppressing the gonadotropins. So that means hormones, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. At the time of lactational intense feeding, what is improving? What is increasing? Prolactin is increasing. So prolactin increasing means that is milk production is increasing in the mother, right? So prolactin is increasing. Where at the time of increasing of prolactin, it is also suppressing or decreasing the production of luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. If there is no production of luteinizing hormone, there is no production of follicle stimulating hormone, there is no development of primary follicle into secondary follicle, secondary into tertiary, tertiary into Graafian follicle into finally ovum. There is no development is there, right? So there is no development of follicular or there is no development of ovum. So there is no luteinizing hormone. If there is no luteinizing hormone, there is no ovulation. If ovulation is not there, so where is the chances for the fertilization better? Sperm cells are releasing, but the production of ovum is absent at the time of lactational amenorrhea. So this is one of the natural method which can prevent the pregnancies, especially in the females. So how many days it is effective better? So it is not effective throughout the year or throughout the many years. It is affected. So very important word. It is affected. It is affected up to 6 months only. So if it is affected up to 6 months only. It is affected up to 6 months only. So these are the three natural methods. So these three natural methods, temporary natural methods or traditional natural methods, which are preventing the conception, preventing the fertilization process. So now very, very important one, beta. Very, very important. What are the side effects are there? What are the side effects are there? Sir, you are saying that these are the natural methods. We are not using any devices or any methods. So where there is a chances for getting of side effects? Yes, 100% side effects are there. So what are the side effects? So first side effects is, so failures are more. Failure percentage is more. Side effects means there is no side effects better. Sorry. So there is no side effects are there. But very, very important thing. So in this is, so failure chances are more is there. Failure chances are more. So just now we discussed that coitus interruptus. Coitus interruptus means we know that. So men are releasing 200 to 300 millions of sperm cells at a time. In that single cell can be, so chances for getting of fertilization or pregnancy. Right? So lactation also, if you don't know the time period, so definitely there is a chances for. So here one more important one. So intensive lactation is the reason for the increasing of production. If general lactation is there, so baby is not taking the milk from the mother. So that is also reason for the releasing of again menstruation. So in that also there is a chances are there to getting the pregnancy. So that means here there is no side effects are there in the natural methods. No side effects, nothing is there, no side effects are there. But so what is the main disadvantages? So main effect in this is, so failure percentage is more. So these are the temporary traditional natural methods better. Temporary traditional natural methods are there. So now we'll discuss about these temporary artificial natural methods. Sorry, so temporary. The next one is, so next temporary, B is there, right? So that is, so artificial contraceptive methods. So artificial contraceptive methods are there, right? So in that, what is the first one? Barriers are the first one. What is the first one? So we are talking about the, so barriers. Barriers. So here also we discussed about the two things, right? Barriers are two types are there, right? So one we can call it as physical barriers. Second one we can call it as chemical barriers. Physical barriers are there, chemical barriers are there. So in that also again two types we discussed, right? So one is, so male barriers are there. Second one we can call it as a female barriers are there. So simple one, nothing is there. So male barriers, simple one. So we can call it as condoms. condoms we can call it as so male barriers. Condoms are there, right? We can call it as barriers, right? So that we can call it as a male barriers. So simple one. So at the time of coitus, so it is covering. So these condoms are covering the penis part. So penis part. So that means it is preventing the or so it is preventing the insemination process. It is stopping the insemination. So men are using condoms. So that means it is not releasing the sperm cell or semen from the body. So that is these coverings are covering, right? So these condoms are covering penis part, right? So that is these condoms or else these barriers also preventing from sexual transmitted infections are there, right? Sexually transmitted diseases. So different diseases are there. We'll discuss in the reproductive health. So I think you have completed that topic, sexually transmitted diseases. So for that disease also cannot spread. So if male is using the condoms. So one more important one. So these are not reusable. Condoms are not reusable. They cannot use the condoms reuse again. So one of the important example regarding this one is Niroz is one of the example better. So we are talking about the temporary contraceptive method. So in that temporary, second type is there, artificial contraceptive method. So in that artificial contraceptive method, first one is barriers. So in that barriers, physical barriers, chemical barriers. We are talking about the physical barriers. Physical barriers are two types. Male is there, female is there. So coming to, we are talking about the male. So Nirodh is the one of the male barriers which can prevent the insemination process, which can prevent the sexual transmitted diseases. So coming to this one, so these are not reusable. Coming to this one, here is also same. Condoms are there. So along with this, so that we can call it as diaphragms are there. Or along with this, so walls are there. So along with this, cervical caps are there. So these are all belongs to female. So in that very important character is, so these are all, these three can, so that is, so these three, diaphragms, walls, cervical caps. So these, so they can reuse. Female can reuse these contraceptive methods, these barriers. So generally, so these are all made up with the, so the female barriers are made up with the rubbers. Coming to male, so these are all made up with the, so rubber or latex. Same functions is doing this one also better. So right, so that means it is covering. So which part covers the barrier? So covering the cervix part. Birth canal, vaginal canal or cervix canal combinedly we can call it as birth canal. Reproduction lesson. So that is cervix part is covering with the barriers of female, barriers in female. So it is also preventing. So it is also preventing the sexual transmitted diseases or infections in female also. So this is about the male and female barriers and male barriers better. So what about the chemical one? So nothing is there, easy one. So chemical means we are, and along with this one, along with the barriers, we have to use some chemical. So chemicals means certain creams are there. Spermaceutical creams are there, or foams are there, or certain jellies are there. We have to use these things along with these barriers. So if you are using chemicals along with the barriers, it is increasing the efficiency of the contraception. So that is the use of the chemical barriers better. So what it is doing? So it is increasing efficiency of contraceptions. So these chemicals we have to use along with the physical barriers. So that is about the first one. The next we are talking about what is the second artificial method better. So that we can call it as OCP, we can call it as OCP. So OCP stands for oral contraceptive pills, we can call it as oral contraceptive pills, we can call it as oral contraceptive pills. So oral contraceptive pills also we are dividing into two types, right? We have divided, right? There are two types are there, right? So what are the two types? The first one we can call it as steroids, steroidal oral contraceptive pills. The second one we can call it as non-steroid oral contraceptive pills. Easy one beta, easy one. So if you are understanding the contraceptive methods beta, if you are following this, so this class, so easily you can get the 4 marks. In some years, that means 2019 or 2018, so we are having the two questions from the same conception, same topic, same concept. Sometimes we are getting from the single questions, and some years we are getting the 2 questions from the contraceptive method. So that means 4 marks plus 2, 4 marks. That means 8 marks we can get easily from this topic. So very easy topics we can get. So we can get good marks in this topic easily. So if you understand the concept. So OCPs are there. OCP stands for oral contraceptive methods or contraceptive pills we can call it as. How many types are there? 2 types. Steroids are there. So non-steroids are there. So what about steroids and what about non-steroids? Steroids means beta. Steroids means. So what are the things? What are the hormones are present? What are the things are present in the steroid pills? So in these steroid pills, there are again 2 types are there. So one is, so there may be having progestogens are there, or else, so there may be having estrogen or so progestogens are there. The tablets we are saying that oral contraceptive pills are there, right? So in that oral contraceptive pills, so the pills may be having estrogen, progesterone combinations are there, or it may be having only progestogens are there. Example, simple, different examples are there. For example, Mala D or else Mala N. So these are the combinations of steroid tablets. So coming to this one, mini pills we can call it as. Combinations are there. So how we have to use this steroid tablets? So how we have to use the oral contraceptive pills related to steroids ones better? So important, very, very important one. So we have to use these tablets for 21 days. So female, just now we discussed that female is having 28 to 29 days. So menstrual cycle is there, right? So in that 28 days or 29 days cycle, so she has to use, especially for male, especially for female it is, not male. Tablets are for female only. We'll see what are the changes will happen in the female reproductive system if she is using, if the female is using oral contraceptive pills. The first character of this one is, she has to use 21 days. So in that 21 days, so first menstrual cycle, after first menstrual, so first menstrual days is, first menstrual 5 days, so mandatory first. So that is 5 days definitely she has to take. So 5 days is mandatory. Then after, so we should give 7 days gap. 7 days. So that is 7 days gap she has to give. So that means 21 days is right. So 28 days cycle is there, right? So in that 28 days cycle, how many days she had to use? So that is 21 days she has to use. Female has to use. How many days gap she should take in? She should be taken. That is 7 days gap she should be taken. And how many days mandatory? That is 5 days she has to take mandatory. So then after second days, so remaining, so that is 17 days. So that is 21 days she has to take. So after completion of menstrual phase, right? So first 5 days we can call it as menstrual phase, right? So in this three days she can release the, so bleeding is happening in the female, right? So then after 2 days is there, right? So these 2 days, then after follicular phase is having, so 6 days, 6 to 13 days is there, right? In that, so 5 days, so in that, and in that 3 days, so in the menstrual phase, so that is 2 days. So totally, so that means, so 3 plus 2. Menstrual phase 2 days and follicular phase 3 days. So combinedly we can call it as 5 days. So that 5 days gap she should be taken for the, so when she is using the steroid tablets. So once again beta, oral contraceptive pills, it is also called general pills, right? How many types are there? It is dividing into 2 types. So one we can call it as steroid tablets or steroid pills. Second one we can call it as non-steroid pills we can call it as. Coming to steroid pills, again it is two types are there. So there are prostrogens are there, or else estrogen prostogen combinations also there. Estrogen progesterone combination, progestogen combinations also there. How she has to use? 21 days she has to use. So in that 5 days are mandatory. So in that 7 days she should take the gap. Now the question is, so what are the changes it should be taken in the female reproductive system? So if she is using the oral contraceptive method, very, very important character is cervix part is there, right? Cervix. So neck of the vagina we can call it as, right? So cervix part, so it is, so when she is using the steroid tablets, it can alter the mucus quality in the cervix. So what it is doing, beta? So alter the, so mucus, so alter the mucus quality, where it is, so that is cervix part. So alter mucus, so that means the skin is improving, right? The mucus part is improving or increasing, alter the mucus in the quality of cervix. So mucus quality is increasing the cervix part. So when the mucus quality is increasing the cervix part, it is automatically preventing or retarding the entry of sperm cells. When the sperm cells is not entering into the female reproductive system, so where is the chances for getting of pregnancy? Where is the chances for the implantation? So that is what happening because of the steroids. So what are the changes are there? First thing, it is altering the, so mucus quality in the cervix part. So when the mucus is, so increasing and improving its quality automatically, so what will happen? So retard the entry of sperm cell. There is no entry of sperm cell. So when the sperm cells are not entering, so there is no implantation. There is no implantation. So there is no implantation at the same time. So it is inhibits. It is also inhibits the ovulation. When the female is using steroids, that means steroid type of oral contraceptive pills, it is preventing the, so that means it is inhibiting the ovulation process. So that means it is not releasing the ovums into the female reproductive system. There is no menstrual cycle. So it is delaying the pregnancy, right? So that is what happening in the, so oral contraceptive method, that is especially steroid one better. Coming to not steroid or else non-steroid one. So very, very important one regarding this one is, so one of the happy news regarding non-steroidal one is, so these non-steroidal tablets or oral contraceptives are prepared by our country only. So that is India. So that tablet we can call it as Saheli, we can call it as very, very, very important one. Saheli. Saheli was non-steroidal one, non-hormonal one. So here it is non-steroid or so non-hormonal one it is. Non-hormonal one. So who is preparing? So it is prepared by the company called, so CDRI we can call it as, which is present in the Lucknow. CDRI, Central Drug Research Institute. Central, so Drug Research, so Institute. So which is present in the Lucknow. So then what is the difference between these steroid oral contraceptive pills or non-steroid tablets? One is, so these tablets we can use, so once in a week. Once in a week. So these tablets we have to use for 21 days. But so these tablets we can use once in a week. So it is also same. So it is also inhibits, so implantation. It is also inhibiting the implantation. So that is controlling the implantation. There is no fusion of male and female gametes. So that is about oral contraceptive pills. How many types as of now we have completed? So one is we are discussing about the contraceptive methods. So in that, so temporary methods we have started. So in that, so temporary methods, natural methods we have discussed. So in that natural methods, so lactational amenorrhea, coitus interruptus, periodic abstinence. So these three natural methods we have discussed. There is no side effects because of the natural methods, but failure percentage is more in the natural methods. So that we have discussed. So coming to next one. So artificial we are starting. So artificial contraceptive methods we are discussing. So in that artificial contraceptive methods, so that is, so barriers we discuss, then after the oral contraceptives we discuss. So next one. So first one we can call it as the same. We'll close here only. So injections and implants. Injections and implant. So very important point regarding this one is the persons who need so delay in pregnancy for long days. So they are using these methods. So injections and implant. They are taking injections or else they are using the implants. That is silicone pipes are there. So that silicone pipes inserted under the skin. So what are this one? Who needs so delay in so pregnancy? So for long days, they are using this one. So this is injections and implants. Same. So how the OCPs are working, how the oral contraceptives are working, same injections and implants also working in their body. Same. It is also, here is also injection means, so estrogen. So progestogens are there, or so progestogens also there. So this combination is there. Same effects which is showing, which is given by the oral contraceptive pills. So that is also given by the injections and implants. And the final one will close. So that is, so IUDs, very important one for the NEET examination. So IUDs, so again divided into, so three types are there. So one we can call it as, so non-medicated IUDs. So non-medicated IUDs are there. So next one we can call it as copper releasing. So copper, so releasing IUDs are there. Then last one we can call it as hormonal IUDs are there. Hormonal IUDs are there. So very easy one. So one point is there regarding this one. So one of the example for this non-medicated one. So that we can call it as a Lippis loop, we can call it as. Lippis loop. So IUDs means intrauterine devices beta. Intrauterine devices. So these devices are inserted into the uterine part. So uterus part in the female reproductive system. So what are the effects shown by these? So non-medicated IUDs. So example of non-medicated IUDs is Lippis loop. What it is doing in the female reproductive system? So it is increasing the phagocytosis of sperm cell. Simple words, killing of sperm cell. If you are using the Lippis loops, IUDs, Lippis loop IUDs, it is phagocytosis of sperm cells, killing of sperm cells in the female reproductive system. So that is the effect of so non-medicated one. The next one, copper releasing one. Example, there are three examples are there. Copper T or else copper 7 or else so multi-load. So 375 is there. Very important one. What are the effects shown by this one? Just now I said that. So men can release, at a time men can release 200 to 300 millions of sperm cells, right? So men can release 200 to, so 300 millions of sperm cells. In that, very important one, 60% of or 60% of sperm cells is having proper size and shape. Proper size and shape. So in that 40% only having, so vigorous, so motility is having. So vigorous motility is there, right? So that was, so if you are using copper releasing IUDs, so these are very important one. So these are suppressing the, so motility and so fertility of sperm cells. So the capacity is decreasing. So that is done by the copper releasing. Final one better. So hormonal IUDs are there. So hormonal IUDs means simple one. So example we can call it as LNG20, we can call it as levonorgestrel 20, or so here we can discuss about the progestoster, we can call it as. So what are the effects shown by this one? Hormonal IUDs. Hormonal IUDs are useful for the same like oral contraceptive methods. Oral contraceptive methods are increasing the quality, right? But here, so these levonorgestrel 20 or progestoster, it is makes the hostile the cervix spot. So it is makes hostile the cervix spot. So that means it is unsuitable for implantation. So it makes the uterus. It makes the uterus for unsuitable for implantation, or else it is also make the hostile. Hostile means opposite conditions in cervix spot. So that is done by the oral contraceptive method. So this is completely concept about the temporary contraceptive methods. The last one beta, just 2 minutes. So this we can call it as a permanent, is there, right? So permanent. So there are two types are there. So in that one we can call it as tubectomy. Second one we can call it as vasectomy. So vasectomy means simple one. So vasectomy related to men, is there, right? So in the male reproductive system, there is a part is there. So that we can call it as vasa and vasa differentia, not Vijay Devarakonda. So vasa differentia is there, right? So vasa differentia, so tying or cutting of this vasa differentia, that we can call it as vasectomy. So this is the permanent method. So coming to this one, tubectomy. So tubectomy for female. In the female, there is a part is there, right? Same like our hand. So this part we can call it as fimbriae. So this part we can call it as infundibulum. So this we can call it as isthmus. So this we can call it as ampulla. So this we can call it as isthmus. The total part we can call it as fallopian tube. So it is also called oviduct. So these, tying or else, cutting of this oviduct or fallopian tube. So that we can call it as female, permanent, contraceptive methods. So these are irreversible. So once we are doing the family planning operations, tubectomy or vasectomy, it's not irreversible. That means we are unable to we are unable to get the pregnancies again. So that is the permanent methods or temporary methods. So these are the complete concept about the contraceptive methods. Complete contraceptive methods. I hope you understand the concept. So if you have any doubts, so please. There is one number is there, beta. So if you have any doubts, you can ask the doubts. So through that number. So teachers, so please help your students. So there is a number is there. So scrolling number is there. So if students have any doubts, so please, help them to call to clarify their doubts. So in this contraceptive topics. So this is our question, beta. One of the questions, NEET 2024 re-examination. So what is the question is there? So it is related to, the IUDs are there. So contraceptive, question number, so NEET 2024 re-examination, right? So one more question, so that is, NEET 2024 general examination. So it is related to, so what is the question? So which of the following is a natural traditional contraceptive method? Which one we can call it as a natural contraceptive methods? In that, so coitus interruptus, periodic abstinence, lactation amenorrhea or valves. So which one of the following is not important one? So which is not the natural contraceptive method? Simple, we can call it as valves. Valves, right? So valves comes under the barriers. So that is one of the question. The next one. So NEET 24. So we are having two questions. NEET 24 re-examination, we are having only one question. NEET 24, we are having the two questions. So one is from natural contraceptive method. Second one, so that is matching again. So IUDs implants. So matching. So what is the answer, beta? So that is non-medicated IUDs, copper releasing IUDs, hormonal releasing IUDs and implants. So what is non-medicated IUDs? Non-medicated IUDs, Lippis loop. So A is 3. So where is answer? A3. So this A or D may be the answer. Second one, copper releasing IUDs. Copper releasing IUDs means that is copper 7, copper T, copper multiload 375. Where is the answer? So multiload 375. So that is B1, A3B1 or A and D. So there is the next one, hormonal IUDs. Hormonal IUDs means that is progestogen. That is C2. Where is C2? C2. A is the answer. So very easy concept, but contraceptive methods are very easy and definitely you will get 2 marks or 4 marks or 8 marks in their examination. There is one more question, that is 2023. Same questions are there. Vasectomy, coitus interruptus, cervical caps, Saheli. So what is the answer? Cervical caps, barrier method, C1, C2. Where is C2? C2 this one. A is the answer. Cervical caps related to barriers methods, right? So that is C2. If the C2 is there, C2. Answer is A. So right, we have not discussed. So NEET 2024 re-examination. So that is a question. Same question is there. IUDs are there. So 24 IUDs question is there. So then after, so 24 same question, natural contraceptive methods, and 24 again, so IUDs are there. So 23 same question, vasectomy, Saheli. So we can know easily, right? Saheli means same, just now we discussed, right? Cervical caps related to barrier methods. Answer. So what about 2022 question? So Lippis loop is a type of contraceptive used for. Lippis loop is IUDs, right? So that is non-medicated IUDs, right? Where is the option? This is the answer. So Lippis loop is a type of contraceptive method used as. So that is, it is not copper releasing, right? So it is not barrier, right? It is not cervical barrier, right? It is related to non-medicated one. Easy one. So 2022 we are having two questions, right? Same, diaphragms are there, contraceptive pills are there, intrauterine devices are there, lactational amenorrhea. Guess anyone. So lactational amenorrhea. So what is lactational amenorrhea? So absence of menstrual cycle, ovulation. So paturation we can call it as. What is paturation? Paturation means a delivery. Mixturation means releasing of urine. Same, easy question. So D stands for D3. So D3, where is D3 beta? So that is, so options B and C is there. So intrauterine devices are, so inhibits, what is the function of IUDs? So IUDs, especially IUDs changes, what are the things done by the IUDs? So that is, so intrauterine devices, so increase the phagocytosis and inhibits the ovulation and implantation. Contraceptive pills are, so first one, diaphragm, simple. So diaphragms are, they are covering the cervix part, right? So that is A4. Where is A4? So this one. So option A or B. So contraceptive pills, what they are doing better? So alter the mucus of cervix. So right, where is? So right, so inhibits the ovulation and implantation is there, right? So B1, where is B1? So this is. So A or D. C stands for intra and so D stands for lactational amenorrhea. D3. So this is B is answer. Right, 21. So 21 different questions are there. Which of the following is the example of hormonal releasing IUDs? Hormonal releasing means there is only two examples are there. So LNG20 or else progestogens are there. So where is LNG20? B is answer. 21, again two questions are there, right? So 19, so we are having questions are there. So 18, so different questions are there. So 2018 we are having questions, same. Saheli is the, so non-steroidal contraceptive method which is prepared by Central Drug Research Institute. The last one. So 2019 also we are having questions. So these are the different questions better. So once again I am saying that, so conclusion is, so contraceptive methods we discussed. So contraceptive methods is the very easiest topic. So repeatedly we are getting in the NEET examination. So definitely there is one question or two questions are there in the examination. So I hope you understand the concept. So if you have any doubts, so you can ask through the contact number, so which is given on the scrolling. So I am here to clarify all your doubts. Any doubts are there? So any doubts, dear students? Yes, sir. So I hope you understand the complete concept. You have clarified all your doubts regarding the contraceptive methods. So thank you so much. So we'll meet So with one more topic in the next video. So thank you so much.